Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we are live on Project Cars 2 and we have the Pagnian Imports GTE Cup. It is round 3 tonight, so that will see us at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, and an exciting night to be seeing the GTEs tackle on the mountain. And then a little bit of a mix-up in weather conditions. So after about a year's absence, we've brought back in the wet conditions. So first time for the year, we'll be doing wet stint and the race, and then the qualifying is 15 minutes, weather will be overcast, and then the race is 13 laps, weather will be overcast and progress into light rain and finish out. So they will be taking on wet tyres to finish out the race, and it'll be a little bit random when that rain sets in. It is a mandatory pit requirement and it's rolling starts for the championships. And then looking at the standings, after round 2 we've got DK Rush leading the championship with 240 points, Head Farmer not too far behind on 225, and Mick Cliff also doing well, sitting on 214 in position 3. And then looking at the results from last week, we were at Road America for round 2. DK qualified 4th, went on to take the win, and then the fastest lap of the race went to the Head Farmer. He's running up the front before running into trouble and having to drop back, so hopefully some better luck for the guys. It was quite a spectacular crash. And over and checking out the track details for at Bathurst Mount Panorama, the track length is 6.21 kilometers with 23 turns. That's going to be a lot of fun seeing what these guys can get out of the cars tonight. Seen some very mixed times out of all the cars makes so far in the championship. There hasn't been too much dominance. We did see Ford 1-2, and then it's got mixed up a little bit last week. We did also see Nick charging off out the front for a little while, fighting it off with Head Farmer. So that was a battle between the Ford GTE and the Ferrari 488. So no clear benefit out of any of the cars yet for the tracks. There's been some very interesting results. And don't forget, jump in the chat if you're joining us. We've got Big Les and Steph in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're well. That's Head Farmer. First to charge out onto the track. In-game times 10 AM. The season is spring, with those overcast conditions for morning time. The track temps are going to be rather low. It will be a tad slippery. Hopefully you guys have been getting in that wet weather practice. I haven't had to for quite some time. Yes, Steph, good luck with your 12-hour practice tonight. Hopefully tonight we don't get any clashing with the drivers. We are doing a little bit of an experiment tonight. They're starting off getting all their drivers into a party beforehand, before jumping into the lobby, and it doesn't appear that we're having clashes. Fingers crossed we don't see any random disconnects. Happening in the lobby, and it usually does get a fair few having to join and leave to try and get back in and not have that clash with another driver and keep getting disconnected. And sometimes both drivers end up getting thrown out at the same time when it clashes. Down through all the drivers. Hopefully our drivers remember to jump in that same car for tonight. Any change of car will see points void. And our new joiners to the stream, hit the follow button to help us grow towards that big number 300. And if we can see ourselves reach that very soon. DK Came through with a nice run last week. And a fair few Ferraris and Corvettes that have been picked for the series. And also in Corvette. Dirty Monkey in the BMW. Having connection issues the last week. Hopefully we don't see that drop out. Even disconnects carrying for Tyjo previously as well. Between qualifying, crossing into the race start. That will be out laps being done and dusted. I think it was headphone on that first charge out, but there seems to be a car ahead of him. Not sure who the driver is. We'll try and jump on board for a lap around as well. And jump on board. Jenny Corvette just starting a lap. Actually, it's first time laps. Oh, it's already a little bit mixed up. A little bit loose coming down through turn 1. Times being set at 2:01.8. First time for Tyjo. Trying to say as close to that inside curve as possible and then run straight out, milling to that wall. You cannot go off the edge of the curve. As you go through the cutting, hug that wall. A lot of understeer, a bit of slipperiness to that rear still. Managed to get the car under control. 2 tenths lower on the previous lap. Flat foot across the top of the mountain. A little bit of a lift and shift just to change over at Skyline. As much engine braking as you can, try and limit that slide through the S's. Again, with the engine braking, down to that low gear, let the car get the turn in. Power out towards that wall. That perfect long line. Flat foot straight out there for that already made up 3 tenths. Enough to be able to move up position in current standings. The bump vortex down. So shifting down. Second for the chase. A little bit deep. Trying right out, right onto that curb. And second. And final corner onto that ripple strip. Dropping down and finishing up the lap. It's going to be a tidy lap. Lost a bit of time over sector 3. And a tidy lap. 4.294, qualifying into 5th position. Long drivers getting in on the 201s. DK sitting at 201.5, 0.7 for Mick. SF Ford has got a very different sound. The sound you would normally expect. You think it'd be a much more throaty sound. It's almost sound like a buzz box. Mick has had a fantastic run in that Ford. Road America, those that haven't checked out our incident report on our Facebook from the results, we'll contact there for Jenna. Car did get loose on Mick towards that back straight. The car just slid straight off to the right, making heavy contact to that inside wall, and then essentially shot the car out across into the front of Head Farm. He had no choice but just to get collided with. Head Farmer came out of the incident much better. We did actually cross over live as it was happening. We saw Head Farmer driving away, and then Mick trying to really get that Ford going again. That thing would not drive straight, and then a lengthy pit stop costing him many positions. That was a great battle seeing Mick and Head Farmer. So hopefully they can make up from last week and then put out another awesome battle again. At least spread of times, 5.8 seconds between the 10 cars. So dramas, hopefully no, make too much wall contact. Nice little flip spin. And Mick had taken pole with a 2-minute .9, only just quite different in time between the two. 0.026 difference between Mick and Tyjo. So they're both in the Ford GTE. And big lead. Yeah, the Ferrari does sound a bit like a vacuum, something stuck in the intake. Running very high. And DK's just snuck in for time as well. Look at the difference in time. We've got 3 drivers in the 2 minutes. DK big slide. A little bit slippery there. Not sure if there may be some debris on track. Maybe some contact there. DK, the 2-minute 9:19. Oh, there we go. Mick's just swapped back around. Done a 2-minute 6:71. Really broke through. There's only a couple of hundreds separating the 3 drivers for a moment. And then Mick comes and blows away with a 2-minute .6. For the difference between DK in the 2 minutes with a .919 and a .998. Oh, that's a huge hit. Is that Simo's car? No, who's that in the... That's for Wheeler. And for a slide in the chase. Straight back across. It's going to be unfortunate, but there will be enough time to quickly get back out on track. And they're doing well, setting 203.953. That spread of times actually starting to stretch out a bit now. That very quick 2-minute .6 by Mick. Thanks for back out on tracks. There's 3 minutes left to qualifying. So it's enough time to be able to get one time lap in here for him. To get across that control line before the countdown reaches 0. Get that one more timed lap. It'll be just over 2 minutes to finish up last laps. In the pits at the moment. Hammer going on to finish this lap. Previous 203.953 improves it. Down to a .452, but no movement in position. The driver just ahead is Vortex with 22.605. Vortex making improvement here. He does. He shaves off a 10th. Also no movement. He shaves off a second to his qualifying time. Oh, that's just cost him. And take some damage. He may have been able to save it and not take damage, but at least got around. With only a minute 30 left, wouldn't be enough to finish up sneaking a lap. That'll be Simo's qualifying done and dusted. Vortex, his car's just gone back in the pits. Simo's probably going to have some fun with the car over the course of the remaining time. We'll probably put it on a show for us to make sure we cross over to him in those last few seconds. Does not disappoint. Don't forget, for all our viewers, jump in and use those sound effects controls down underneath the stream. They will be played over the stream and they are recorded. They are played back later on Twitch and then also uploaded onto YouTube. You can contribute your own to the stream. Look at that rear slide and that forward with Mick. He's pushing this car to the limits. In for the championship lead for the big incident last week. It cost him some points. As qualifying completes is now final laps. This will be Jenna's final qualifying lap. Final still no, definitely still covering iRacing. That's on Monday nights. Project Cars 2 on Thursdays. That's Mix, he's crossed the line, so that's AI taking over the car. And with his pole time set in at 2:671. DK is going to have to try and shave off a few attempts. He may be able to steal pole on this final lap. Ed Farmer's showing a fair bit of heavy damage to the front end. That may just be residual from a recent incident and he's brought the car back in. Cars will still show the panel damage. He's on 201.702. Will he improve, move up a position? He does. He gets down to 201 flat. But no movement in position. And lines up. I think that's Vortex. Doing donuts. Anyway, slides it down Conrad. Got plenty of time left to destroy that car. Hannah, good finishing time. No change in movement on the board though. And that's AI. AI for Mick and for DK. Improves his time. He shaved off a 10th, so he's gotten closer to Mick's time. Does not take pole position. That means no more opportunities to steal that pole. That is set. Our pole starter for round 3 at the mountain will be Mick Cliff. Ford will be taking control for the start procedures. Simo 2 seconds left, trying to destroy this car. Doesn't quite roll it. There's qualifying done and dusted for round 3 of the Pagnian Imports GTE Cup. Mick Cliff is our pole position, setting a 2-minute 6.7. Then the rest of the grid is then DK, Taijo, Headfarmer, Vortex, Hammer, Jenna, Dirty Monkey, Vert Wheeler, and Simo Simzel. Back trackside, the drivers ready themselves for the rolling start. We have had Taijo disconnect in the transition from the qualifying into the race ready room last week. Hopefully no disconnects for him. Did miss out on a championship win to wrap us up for the year last year by means of disconnect. And then we even had at the start of the series a DQ for Hammer. So there was some strange technical glitch that went on with the game. Once the car was given back control to Hammer, the car just had no steering input. Wasn't recognising his steering wheel whatsoever, so the car just dove off track, and then since you're not complying with that start procedure, suffered a DQ. So very disappointing. He was doing some fantastic qualifying laps. Those overcast conditions is what we'll be starting in. And in between lap 5 to probably lap 7, we'll see it transition over into wet conditions. Oh, there's drama at the back. Anyway, and Jen making contact, obviously weren't ready to grab the wheel. That's going to be a penalty going to them already. Could be very well drive through. A fantastic getaway for Mick. Covered that inside line. Hopefully no damage. Look, Jen and Simo. BK's going to be in a prime position. The slipstream up Mountain Straight is probably going to try and make a move as early as possible before Mick starts to pull away. And there's side by side between Taijo and Vortex. Vortex tried to make the move, but he couldn't quite pull it off. Definitely Steph Rolling strikes again. I think the guys in both series will be more than pleased to see next series arrive and go back to the standing start. DK is managing to hold on. Taijo's having to hold off Vortex as much. Drop back a little bit. And ultimately, how you finish here tonight is going to come down how it all goes on once that rain comes in. We see some drivers try and estimate it and go in and get the wets a little bit earlier. Charge on through, nice warm wet tyres. While everyone else is coming in, getting the pits. Simulator time is set to 2 times speed. So once it starts raining, it will actually start to puddle a little bit quicker than normal. Vortex side by side. With the head Farmer. Head Farmer gets a position. Ferrari gets the slingshot around the Corvette. I'm not sure actually if Vortex may have been in the Aston last week. He's done a car change. That's going to be very costly. There's going to be no points. If Tyjo smashed straight in that wall, he's trying to get it off the exit wall. With Project Cars 2, it will actually accept minor wall scrapes without giving damage. Once you've done it 3 or 4 times, that's going to change. It will actually start giving damage to the car. Only if you make a solid hit to the corners, front and rear, you're going to be having a lengthy stop to tend to those damages. We'll bring up those timings and see what those penalties are for Jen and Simo. 7 seconds and 5 seconds will be added post-race from the Tangle as the game gave control over to the drivers. Those that are ran on Project Cars 2. Rolling start without a formation lap. The AI will take control of the car, give a countdown, then give full control over. If you are not ready for that, or holding the steering in the same position that it does, because it doesn't actually take over your steering wheel, kind of got to ghost what it's doing on the screen, so when it does give you control, sometimes mid-corner, if you've still got your wheel straight as it gives it back to you, that car's going to start fishing, go off track. Jen and Simo were on the straight as it happened, so they may have not just been ready for the car. And DK goes to make a move. Nick Cliff was covering that inside line. And Vert Wheeler coming into the pits that got damage. So the big thing here, now that they're getting their man pit requirement out of the way, if they don't take wet tyres now, that means they're going to have to make another stop and grab those wets. Unless they can really chance running half the race on the wet tyres. I don't imagine the lap times are going to be too nice. Running around on wets, just only on lap 3. Bit of a tap. Max put Dirty off out of his rhythm a little bit after that. Bit of contact. Really froze you. Well, that's DK that's just been turned around. Taking some damage. He may be doing the same thing that we saw Vert and Jen do. Maybe coming in for those wets now. This is bringing big opportunity. Oh, there's been a retirement. Looks like Jen. So may have been stacked. Huge smash, making the car incredibly difficult to get back to the pits on very long tracks. It's a very risky thing. You don't have a tow procedure like we do on iRacing. And we saw that last week with Mick trying to get the car back to the pits. But not only did he suffer more damage on the way back into pit lane, just dragged out that lap time onto an already very long upcoming repair, and there's debris on the track there that could have very well, actually may be lucky. Saw it on my screen, I don't think it was on the broadcast screen. Yeah, just saw him crunch through another bumper there. So when there's leftover car parts on the track, running through them will cause some aero damage. Even worse if it gets stuck within the car and drags for quite some time. should essentially be wearing that recurring damage throughout the course of the race. Even sometimes pitting it won't remove it from the car. BK's Ferrari, so close in on Dirty Monkey and the BMW. Now they're starting to see some drops of rain on the camera. The rain is coming in rather early. Just depending on what the drivers are using, you can see rain starting to fall now. They may be able to push out a couple of laps here. Drives that run the crew chief app usually get a warning of incoming rain much earlier than what the crew chief does in game. Raindrops falling onto the car. Back into the pits, taking heavy damage. I don't think they've repaired his damage. That car is still crab walking. He's going to be furious. He's going to try and get that car back around for another lap and then make another trip in if that's the case. How much is he fighting this car? If drivers' set pit strategies haven't been set correctly, they could definitely come in, grab the wet tyres and end up with the wrong set of tyres on. Seen it happen plenty of times in the past. Tyjo's made up huge ground. So we're probably going to have a battle between the Fords. Tyjo getting that thing around on controller. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in wet conditions. How much pace he just caught up. Andrew Murray's, that's phenomenal. He's going to be in for a bit of trouble here. Vortex Head Farmer pitting now. BK's gotten around Dirty. Wall tap. Tyjo's made a fair few wall taps in this, so he's probably going to start wearing some damage. Sometimes when we do see some taps or slight little off tracks, it may not actually be the case. So there is a little bit of a latency difference. We see with Tyjo, because he's actually racing internationally. He's joining us all the way from the Philippines. Tyjo really contemplating going for a run onto Mick out of Forest Elbow. Had the pace, sudden dart, lost it. Mick trying to cover middle of the track. So he knows he's going to be able to position alongside and put him off guard at the chase. Is he going to cover the inside or the outside? These guys not coming in for tyres yet, so it'll be interesting how slippery it is. Both coming with Tyjo. He's not wasting any time on this approach into pit lane. The 2 racing for the lead in the pits. Oh, he doesn't know where his box is. Have they got the right ones? Yes. Mick's got his. He's in the right one. And there's Vert having to come back for the damage. I think he's taken more damage. He's probably tried to get that car limped around. DK coming in. Dirty moves on through into the lead. Stays out on track. Mick gets away. Very loose there with Tyjo on the release. Touches that wall. Looks like a bit of buckling going on the rear there now too. That may have been enough to cause a bit of damage. That was actual contact that we witnessed. Now look at that wet. It is built up a mountain straight. The car's going to be going out there feeling a whole lot different now. Tyjo popping a bit of anti-spray from Mick. A lot of understeer from both of them. Very cautious section by Mick. Tyjo moves on up a position. And the interesting thing here is if Dirty actually may have even started on wet. If his car is performing the way it should be with the amount of water on track at the moment. R2, yep. Amy couldn't make the start. Definitely one to be missed. It's always good at the mountain. If Dirty did start on the wet tyres, he's going to have to still come in for the mandatory pit. Only being 8 seconds away. That'll see Tyjo easily move on up. Overall points championship-wise for Mick, he should not be too phased about Tyjo getting out ahead. He doesn't want to get caught up, entangled in an incident with him. With Tyjo missing those points last week with the disconnect. He only scored points for qualifying, not for the race. That's ultimately Mick and DK at this point, championship points wise. Spin out with DK, setting him back into position 5, and everyone's been in the pits. That entry requirement's been served. They can just run this out now. It's not going to clear up. Oh, it's a big slip. I'm sure that is Vortex. That was probably some hefty damage. I think that was front to tail. Will it be drivable enough to have to avoid another stop? Nick's dropped back 4.3 seconds from Tyjo. He's got a nice 15-second lead over Head Farmer. That's Ford 1-2. And then Ferrari in 3 and 4. I did anticipate the Ferrari may have actually fared a bit better tonight. And particularly so in the wet conditions. Over the course of 4 laps, could we see them close that gap in? Like Head Farmers struggling with that corner. And you can see, once that car starts to actually get a bit of pooling through the final corner, it actually puddles right at the inside curb on the apex, and you will actually start playing straight out. Once it starts to get to that position, you actually can go off track, cut to the inside, and then run out through the dirt. And you won't be suffering an off track and requested to slow down. DK's closing in big time. Not sure if it's the wet conditions causing some dramas for Head Farmer, or he may be dealing with some damage as well. A bit of a side swipe for DK with the wall. Oh, that's going to cost him big time. He's going to just probably let DK straight through. Dirty throwing that BMW M8 around. He's going to be rounding up Head Farmer pretty quickly. He has definitely damaged the front of Head Farmer's car. No, it is actually reflection. It did look like he may have had headlights on and only one showing. Yeah, it was only light reflection. It's usually good tell if there is front damage when you can't see any buckling if one of the headlights is out. That is not the case for Head Farmer. Hydro starts at lap 10. 3 more times around the mountain. And you can see Tyre Joe claim the win. In P2, DK's P3. Oh, he's made an error through Murray's corner. That's let Head Farmer move back on through. Mick needs to try and make sure he stays well ahead. He's sitting on 214 points in the championship. Head Farmer's in position 2. 225 points, and DK in the championship lead on 240. We're essentially in reverse order at the moment in the race. If they do finish in this run, it could actually get things pretty close to tied after this round. Oh, there's a mix again, same spot. Skyline catches off Head Farmer. Take a look through and see how the rest are going. So our Jen exiting out, so it left us with just 9 cars. That wheel in P9. But having to have an extra stock, so it looked like they didn't repair his car when he came with heavy damage. You know, in P8, he's got that post-race time penalty from contact before the race even started. He's got ample time between himself and P9. And they're sitting in P7. 8 seconds away is Vortex. Vortex is dealing with damage. There's the same example I was talking of, seeing that headlight out, so he's taken damage to that front left. Yeah, the car is definitely wanting to pull towards the left-hand side. It's not like Vortex is just going to try and contend with that car how it is, try and not lose 15 seconds over the course of a few laps and be able to potentially hold position 6. Bernie Monkey P5 trying to close in the gap to Head Farmer and DK. Has been swapping positions a fair bit. Head Farmer sitting in P4. You see how much this wet has caused these lap times we were seeing down low 2 minutes. Previous laps showing up at the moment, it's from 2:16 to about 2:20. DK P3. Well, there's been some drama. There's a lead change as well. We've had a retirement. I think it's Vortex. Vortex is retired out, so obviously had some more dramas trying to get that car to drive straight. Very unfortunate. Tyjo, he's taken a big hit. The rear wing is missing. And there's some signage that's been scattered around through Murray's corner, so that aquaplaning is probably now starting to catch drivers off. If they're not aware that they can cut the inside of the corner once the conditions get dangerous with that pool. And with lap 12, you'll see the white flag out at the end of this lap. Nick can hold that together. He's going to take the victory. It'll be enough to claim back the championship win. There's no chance that Tyjo's going to be able to make that car catch up pace now. With all that aero missing on the car. The incident costing Tyjo 10 seconds on that previous lap. But still steering pretty good. He's got an 11-second gap between himself and DK. He's only got to keep the car within the black stuff just another time around once he gets this lap done. Oh, solid hit. He's going to be stoked. No connection troubles at all. We're usually seeing Dirty and Tyjo clashing most of the time. It's great to be able to see our guys get through. Yeah, Mick aquaplaning through that final turn. He's white flag to come out now. It's final lap. Tyjo still holding around 5.5 second gap. There is a fair bit of water on that track, so you can get someone that's coming up. Down into Murray's and see just how bad the pooling is. roof. You can see that pulling and it just dives the car off. Where at this stage they could have now actually ran straight up over that inside curb, cut the corner completely and suffer no consequence. Yes, Simo just behind. Going for a spin in that same aquaplane. Just retiring out. Still be in for points, unless he did actually change from the Aston, so I'm pretty sure we had him in the Aston last week. Double check just see if that is the case. It is. It's been a car change from Vortex. He drove the Aston Martin Vantage. Very cautiously taken by Mick. Didn't want it to go wrong there. This is the checkered flag out. He takes the win at the mountain. Round 3 goes to Mick. DK manages to catch up and get around Taijo. This should be enough for the championship lead to be maintained by DK. Well done. Taijo some fun just destroying the car across the finish line and tap from the AI. So Taijo P3, Head Farmer not far behind P4 and Dirty P5. So it's only about 13 seconds separated first 5 cars. It's fantastic. Especially wet conditions around the mountain. Seconds to get last laps done. Enough time for Emma and Simo to get across. That's a few laps back with the extra pit. Puddle getting Hammer. Here he comes across the line in position 6. You see Simo in the background. Got enough time just to spin the car around in the wet. That's real. There's 46 seconds. We may be able to see Vert cross the line. He's a little bit down. And as he comes on the approach, he's going to be seeing they're doing donuts. He's probably going to try and roll it across the line. He needs to try and at least finish it up. Real wet across the line, just crosses. And there's Vert, so that'll be all cars across the line. Vert down, but still finishing up on that lap. Well done to the guys. They've enjoyed seeing the wet weather return. We will be seeing it again throughout other series as well, so it's going to shake. Do stay tuned for that in the future. But our race winner for round 3, we have Mick Cliff at Bathurst Mount Panorama. And then does he take away a fastest lap as well? No, it's a 2:01.960, and that's by Head Farmer, so he took it last week as well. So some big pace from the Head Farmer, so well done. But race victory goes to Mick. P2 is DK and P3 Taijo, so well done to our podium finishers. And the rest of the standings then: Head Farmer, Dirty Monkey, Hammer, Simo, the Wheeler and Vortex. And DK and Taijo in a moment now. jumping in a moment. Congrats, guys. Good win there, Mick.
Yeah, cheers. That was hard work.
So it was starting to look pretty sketchy towards that back end.
Yeah, it was worse than I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't ready for that. And luckily, I don't think Tojo was either.
No, yeah, it's a fair bit of damage, and you're trying to get that car to keep going, Taja. On by about 5 seconds still, but it just must have been another spin towards that back end when DK got you.
Yeah, qualifying wasn't quite ideal. Couldn't get a good lap in from slower cars, but the race was quite sketchy. I knew I had the pace, but once the race starts, I made the overtake on Mick, and from then on the puddle started forming through Skyline. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, did they get you too?
Yeah, I went through it like 5 times, no problem, and then 6th time spun once, and then tried to avoid it, and the puddle started getting wider and wider. Couldn't avoid it.
Yeah, I went off about 5 times, but I didn't go off badly. I backed right off.
A small tap in the wall took off my rear wing, and had to drive 3 laps to the end without a rear wing, so didn't lose too much time, about just like 6 seconds. So yeah, in the final spin of the lap, gave the podium to 2nd place to DK. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and good comeback too, DK, especially with that early spin.
Yeah, cheers, JT. It was a bit of a silly mistake.
Could have been pretty sketchy. Yeah, it looked like it might have taken some heavy damage.
Oh, I did. I took a bit of damage, not a huge amount, but enough to unsettle the car. And yeah, I was just lucky that I got out of the way of all the other cars coming, and then I just had to watch the map to make sure that there was nothing, because I couldn't see, because they were in cockpit view. I couldn't see anything at all, so I just had to make sure there was nothing on the map, and yeah, get back into it and head down.
Yeah, there's no saving anything with DK and Tojo up behind you.
Yeah, well, I nearly collided with Vortex when he lost it on turn 2 in the wet, and then almost got Tojo on the top of Skyline. That was pretty close. But even Headfarmer and myself had a really good battle.
Yeah, he's a spot changing a fair bit.
Yeah, he lost
an error in one section and then swap it, and then you take turn somewhere else and swap again.
Yeah, he made a big error in turn 1, and I tapped him up in the rear, and pushed him a little bit offline. So I just slowed down and redressed it as quick as I could.
Yeah, I changed my car before the race and put more spoiler on.
Yeah, I think Headfarmer was slowing down as well, waiting for me to take off. But, yeah. So
because I thought the rain had come in early, so I thought it would come in lap 3 or 4, but nah.
Yeah,
it lasted longer this time.
I saw the drops on the screen on lap 3, but yeah, it didn't really set in until probably lap 7.
Yeah, did you have that in set to the 1st of the night? Because the trees were brown. Normally I thought the trees were green in our practice.
Yeah, they should be, yeah.
It was a bit different, like the track felt different. It was so much slipperier in the wet.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, I saw all the trees were brown. I'm like, might be autumn, but.
Yeah, well, congrats Tojo, DK.
Congrats Mick on the win.
It's known on Bathurst for swapping weather conditions to what's actually set.
Yeah, so Tojo had me covered for sure.
Yeah, I could have. Didn't, so.
Yeah, no, well done, Mick. As I said during the week, Mick, just consistency, mate. That's all it takes.
Well, as soon as Tojo got past, I thought, yeah, I'll just be consistent now. I'm not catching him. Yeah, so I tried to hang with him, and yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, that's why as soon as I crashed, I just thought, nah, I'm just going to set a certain little pace and stick to it, not try and push too hard.
Yeah.
Paid off, so. No, good racing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the wet.
Yeah.
And Murray's caught a lot of drivers off. It looked like there was enough pooling to be able to allow the cutting of the final.
Yeah, I come across a lot of bodywork over the top.
I think there was a few that weren't aware you could cut the corner. Once that puddle formed.
And as soon as you hit that puddle, I almost lost it. They actually locked the brakes coming down.
Yeah, I did it second last lap.
Just managed to get the car sideways enough to hit the wall sideways, so I didn't get any damage.
Yeah, I was going slow enough that I could correct it.
I got a little tap from the wall that took off my rear wing, just a small tap.
Oh
no.
Didn't
I
take
noticed
Yeah.
you didn't have a rear wing when I went past,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Game over when that happens.
You're not catching me now. Not with half a lap to
Yeah, I
go.
wasn't. I could have, but I wasn't.
I would have been happy with settling for third after crashing and ending
Yeah,
up
so would have
seventh.
I.
Oh yeah, for the championship.
Yeah.
Well, it should still put you ahead, I think, because you
Yeah, it'd be pretty
you got
close.
the pole. Head Farmer got the
Yeah.
fastest lap, and we finished the same as we qualified. So
Yeah, I tried
think
to
it was
hold.
only
I was thinking about holding Tyjo off, but he just come too fast.
I think it was only
Too
15
good.
points between us, so should be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting points wise.
Yeah, be great.
Yeehaw.
I love it.
And it was great fun to see the wet weather make things get shaken up a little bit more. So
Oh,
it's good
definitely,
seeing it
because
back in.
it even makes it interesting for when you're practicing during the week, because you got to sort of practice for both conditions and set the
Yeah.
car up that balance
No,
both
I
conditions.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't practice much at all.
But,
And really throws your pit strategy out the window if you got to come in for that early stop for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
You
when I
either
had the
get to
damage.
contemplate, do you do another run or you just take the tyres in and stay out on wets?
Yeah, well, I
Dry
waited
stints,
until
so-
I waited until the rain to come in and fix my damage. I did 5 laps or 6 laps with damage, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It all paid out in the end. You all managed well.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Cheers,
Great
JT.
Cheers, JT. Appreciate
Have a
it.
good race. Woohoo.
Yeah. and at least dry conditions for Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where we're next week? Nürburgring. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Nürburgring
Yep.
GP.
Favorite track.
GP.
It's
Nice.
going to be good.
Yeah,
The Ford
Well
loves that
suited for
place.
these guys, yeah.
I don't want to hear that, Mick.
It seems to be doing well everywhere.
It does,
Yeah.
especially in the hands of Mick and Tyjo.
Yeah.
Cheers,
It's
JT.
doing well. No worries.
Appreciate it.
Cheers,
See you
guys.
next week. Congrats, Mick.
See you next week.
Cheers.
There's our podium finishes with Mick Cliff taking the win out in round 3. DK on the podium in position 2. And then Tyjo in position 3. So we'll take a look at our series coming up. So round 4, as we mentioned, Nürburgring GP. That will be next week, Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, live with round 4. It's going to be great seeing them get around, and we'll see if the Ford GTE does dominate there, as well as Mick was just saying. So do stay tuned for that, and also jump in on Monday night for the next round on round 4 for the GTE Championship on iRacing. So the guys will be from memory if that is the case, and then there will be some great racing to see there as well. So thanks for tuning in tonight, and hope to see you trackside then.